In this video, I'm going to show you best practices for going live with LinkedIn, which can give you an edge when going live on any platform. This is a replay of a live broadcast where I was joined by LinkedIn expert Brian Horwath, who contributes his perspective as a career coach as well. Wishing you fun and many aha moments. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to see, learn and be inspired about doing high quality lives that makes you win clients with ease. This is what I found, and I think this is a great way to wrap it up. And guys, if you have any questions, let me know. And I think I did on purpose. We are multi-streaming right now on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. It could be that the stream is not predominantly served or that people are not getting the notification. I think we have a good number of people watching us live. It's okay. So if you don't have a question right now, don't feel pressured, of course. But if you're having a question in looking at this as a replay, of course, type in your question either to me directly, to Brian, into the comment, and we're happy to answer that. If you have a question about your LinkedIn profile, if you have a question about going live, I would be the one for the LinkedIn profile, Brian. And this is something that I would like to share with you. And I found this in the presentation from LinkedIn about best practices. And I thought it was brilliant, nothing to add. And I would say that also LinkedIn encourages us to have a higher level of going live. So we all know there are possibilities going live instantaneously through your smartphone, but it's probably not the thing that is really catchy and getting people to stay on for now even more than an hour or nearly an hour. And so it's because of course you would like to share something that is of service, of relevance to your audience. And so therefore, LinkedIn encourages us to use these best practices. And the first idea that they are sharing is do not go live more than one day. I thought this was a good idea. And I heard this, or I read this the first time like this, because rather go with like one shot and have something that you're really prepared, that you thought about in advance, and then do your pitch. And I think it's of course possible to go more than once, but you could also, overwhelm your audience and make it a little bit too redundant to see, okay, there's another live from this and that person, and you don't want that as well. Because the nice thing about live is that it pops up as a notification, and if it's the right time, people will pop in or they will come to an event.
Well, what I love too about live video, it's great for afterwards. I mean, let's be honest, right? Going live, getting the interaction, that's the best for everyone. For ourselves, we get to interact with our audience. For the audience, they get to interact with us. But also, it's not like it's gone. We have it for recorded later to use in many different ways, repurposing it in all kinds of different methods. And sometimes, guys, for those watching and listening, and Daniel, even for ourselves, is you may not use it right away. Right? But later on you find, you know what, I have an application for this thing that I recorded months ago. And depending on what the content is, it's always evergreen. It's not going to fade away or go away. So really cool encouragement too for continuing to go live.
Yeah, and next thing was and thank you Facebook user for your contribution, for your thumbs up. The idea is also to go live if you have the permission to go live in the first 60 days. I think they probably have a service or a routine which shuts off people that are not active enough. And I just also told this to you, Brian, like when in our preparation, I already had the live access, and I was really thinking, I want to have a good one. And probably I think this was the reason why it was rejected. And then I think it was not often enough. So you want to find the good ratio about not going too often, but also going regularly. And I think with going live, it's on the regular continuation is really a key, because you are training your audience, hey, every Friday around this time, something about going live broadcasting is coming up, so I better look at that. And so it will pay off if you are doing this regularly. And I think this is what is intended with this here as well.
Absolutely. It's kind of like television shows too, right? There's regularly scheduled programming, and it's helpful for us as well as content creators or as business professionals or as leaders or people that have a message to communicate. It's something I'm really looking forward to getting more established as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that is something that I've seen also not clearly as a, well, as a tip here from LinkedIn, as a recommendation. So don't use pre-recorded content. So I think it's a little bit, well, boring if you're seeing something that is not live and it's like really perfectly pitched, but it's not giving you the interaction. And so I think that's what the intention is. You could always have parts of the live that are pre-produced, and this is, for example, like I'm doing the demo, so I'm not frickling here, or I'm not trying to search for the right program, and it takes you forever. So this is prepared, but also don't overdo it in having like the whole thing pre-produced, because this is at the end it's not attractive. So you're seeing it's not live at the end, and it's not authentic, and what you want is the authenticity, even if it's not perfect.
Right. And usually it's not. But the cool thing is, I love too about the software we've been talking about, Ecamm, OBS, all those kinds of things. It helps us to frame up ahead of time so that we can go live with a better execution. And then most of those programs allow you to drop in, like you did, the pre-recorded stuff. You're still there live interacting, but you're kind of just, it's like showing someone your pictures, when you're live with them. Those pictures aren't live, but you're still sharing the pictures that you had, and it's still an engaging opportunity for everyone.
Yes. So that's easy. No selling or overly promotional streams. I think that's a good thing also to remind that, of course, you're there to give a service, and so don't overdo it with putting in too many links, affiliates, or something like that. Really something that is a contribution to the audience.
But still provides a call to action, right?
Yeah.
Because we all, otherwise what's the purpose, right? For everyone, if there's not a next step.
Absolutely. And so, large sponsorship logos, that adds a little bit to the same of promotions. And I think that was really interesting. And this is also a personal experience that I can share, or that it backs my feeling about these starting soon screens. I think you should really be engaging with these with the first second, because there are people really waiting for you and have been timed your live screen, and if you have done it as an event, people are starting, so it's a little bit wasting also their time if you say, okay, we're going live in 10 minutes or so. We're waiting for other people who in brackets might be more important than you to go live. And I think this is something, have something prepared for the first minutes. For example, as we did, Brian and I I had an intro, but I started right away. I think this is a little bit, we have these programs where you have obviously the possibilities to have a nice countdown timer, but it's rather, I think I'm seeing it as a trend as well, that it's better to start right now, because another thing is on the on how these networks deal with live streams. So there is a mechanism, an algorithm that detects if there is engagement at the start. If it's an engaged start, then it has the possibility to travel further in the network. And so you want to use that power, that you really have like this engagement and say, hey, Ashley, how are you doing? Hey, Facebook users with the thumb up, what's going on? And so you interact with them, so you have a good engagement, and this then gets the algorithm kicks in and makes that travel to other friends of your friends and other connections.
Yeah, it's a wave, right? I mean, it's a wave that continues through if you engage. And so what are you there for otherwise, right? Sometimes though, I've made that mistake of, I'm not ready, or I forgot this, which gives you that prep time. But you could set that at home for yourself before you press the live button. Set your own I'm almost ready timer.
True.
Right? So So you know, you're about to go live, brother. You better get going. So
yeah. And yeah, so let's so have a stream longer than 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that's a good way. So we have really surpassed this rule here. So it's already an hour now. So, and this is also, I'm wrapping it up. And then this is the last thing, whatever, avoid unprofessional streams. Of course, this lies in the eyes of the viewer, if how unprofessional it is. It could be that it's a major influencer who is doing the thing on the street, and it's super cool, and because everything is kind of gold what this person says, then it's fine to do it as well. But normally, like us who are reaching out to a selected audience, then also use your message and what you have prepared wisely. Because it's, yeah, still, as you also said, Brian, it hasn't changed. The first impression often counts. And so be ready to make a good first impression.
absolutely, good points.
Yeah. I hope you liked this video. I really thank Brian Horwath for being my sparring partner. You find his contacts and further info in the show notes of this video. This video is one of a 3-part series about going live on LinkedIn. Make sure to check out the other videos, why you should go live on LinkedIn and how to be live on LinkedIn. Also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to be informed on the latest about going live and winning new clients with this innovative form of content marketing.